Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances of Vishnu Prabhupada. I welcome everyone to His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj's daily call. Today, Maharaj is going to continue on the Srimad Bhagavatam series of 12th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 6. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving your time and association to all of us today. I'll share my screen. You can take over, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Maharaj, you are on mute, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarvamvayayanam Tirtam Lavanyam Kesadharanam Udaram Bharata Swarta Satyavem Drishyam Evahi Daksham Kutumbam Bharanam Yasyurte Dharma Sevanam. A sacred place be taken to consist of no more than a reservoir of water located at a distance. And beauty will be thought to depend on one's hairstyle. Filling the belly will become the goal of life, and one who is audacious will be accepted as truthful. He who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert man. The principles of religion were observed only with sacred reputation. Therefore, in India, there are many sacred places through which holy rivers flow. Foolish people eagerly seek redemption from their sins by bathing in these rivers, but they do not take instructions from learned devotees of the Lord who reside in such places. One should go to a holy place seeking spiritual enlightenment and not just for ritualistic bathing. In this age, people tirelessly arrange their hair in different styles, trying to enhance their facial beauty and sexuality. They do not know that actual beauty comes from the heart and the soul, that only a person who is pure is truly attractive. As the difficulties of this age increase, filling one's belly will become the mark of success, and one who can maintain his family will be considered brilliant in economic affairs. Religion will be practiced, if at all, only for the sake of reputation and without any essential understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Gyan Timidandasya Jena Jena Salakaya Chaksu Undalitam Rena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Irvise Sasunyavadi Pasyatya De Satarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Paevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Paevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes. Can you put the full screen back up? Oh, not on full screen.
Maharaj, my screen is full only, Maharaj. I think you can do it on your side.
Trying to see how to do it. Let's see.
In Zoom, you can go back to Zoom, and in that you can select full screen, Maharaj, in the top.
I'm back in Zoom, but I'm not in full screen. Let me see here. Zoom. Let's see. Okay, let me see here. Oops. It seems to be going the opposite direction here. See here.
One second, I'll stop my screen share and.
Okay, let's see. All right, go back to full screen now.
Yes, Maharaj.
Can you do a search?
Yes, Maharaj.
There's a particular verse that I'm looking for. It's, I'm not sure the number of verse, but look for the word Eva Gokara, EVA Gokara, Gokara, not Gopar, not Gopar, Gokara. The goals Eva Gokara. I think it's I don't think it's, I think you still spelled it wrong. It's C, not K.
Okay. Maharaj, is it one word or it's a separate, two separate words?
These are two separate words. Eva Gokara. Yeah, let's see. Go there. And look at the 14th chapter. Keep going down the page. Gokara is there somewhere. It's a very.
It is shown in almost all the verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gochara, Gokara.
Go. Make that a separate word. Go and Kara.
Okay, Maharaj.
Go Kara. Yeah, that's it. Sri Devi got it. 1084:13.
Okay, Maharaj. Sure, I'll go there.
That's the verse.
Sorry.
Srimad Bhagavatam
84.
13. And 84:13.
Okay. KHARAH. Yes, Maharaj.
Yasyatma buddhi kunape tradatu ke svadi kaladreshu boma ijadi. Tirtha buddhi samile nakarhi chit. Ganesha abhijesha sadeva loka. Translation. One who identifies himself as an inert body composed of mucus, bile, and air, who assumes his wife and family are permanently his, who thinks an earthen image of the land of his birth is worshipful, and who sees a place of pilgrimage merely as the water identified there, but who never identifies himself with, feels kinship with, worships, or even visits those who are wise in spiritual truth. Such a person is no better than a cow or an ass. True intelligence is shown by one's freedom of false identification. As stated in the Brihaspati Samhita, Gyatam Bhagavan Dharma Mantra Vijnana Samvida Naraste Gotskara Gyeya Api Bhu Paravandita. See here. Keep going down the page.
Yes, Maharaj, I did. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, keep going down the page.
Yes, Maharaj, I went in the end of the purport.
Oh, okay. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one who thinks an image of him. Let's see. Well, the example here is that those who go to the holy places, not seeking out men of wisdom, spiritual wisdom, but go simply to bathe in some water, are no better than a cow or an ass. It says here, yet Tirtha Buddhi Salile, who seeks a place of humility as the water there. It doesn't refer to the Ganges or Jamuna, but it refers to people. Prabhupada says that a yogi will be in one place and then he'll go underneath the water and come up in another place 1,000 miles away. Prabhupada said people are living on the banks of the Ganges in Calcutta, but will go to another place in the Ganges for pilgrimage and take sacred bath. They don't understand that the Ganges is the Ganges, wherever the Ganges is. And so the point is that people don't understand the value of holy places. And if it has a sacred river connected with it, they see that as the only reason to go. Therefore, the verse says they're no better than an animal who seeks just the water and doesn't know much more than that. And so in the same way, coming to holy places means to meet and to hear from the sacred, the souls who have resided there to give spiritual discourses. But that's not so fashionable in the age of Kali. People will travel to holy places only for taking a bath and not know the value of a holy place is the holy men who stay there and give spiritual knowledge. That's one of the examples. A person's hairstyle, you can go back to the vain verse again. A person's hairstyle will be seen as beauty. And nowadays, people spend a lot of money trying to look good. They do everything they can to make their appearance attractive. And they focus a lot on hairstyle, especially you see women will spend large amounts of money to get a very special hairdo. And that will be very according to their idea, cause other people to be attracted. So, and of course, this also refers to men too, who like to get certain hairstyles in order to attract the opposite sex. So, but here it says that beauty actually is the nature of the soul's existence. The more one is Krishna conscious, the more the soul shines through. And the more the soul shines through, the more the body actually exhibits a type of beauty. Because you'll see, even a very beautiful person, if that body dies and the soul is gone, it's not beautiful anymore, because the source of beauty, which is the soul itself, is no longer present. And the body is just what it is, it's a lump of matter. So it is. Combination of it. So people it's the analogy that's giving in the Shastras is that a person has a bird cage in their house, and there's a beautiful bird inside. But the custodian, the keeper, will go to the bird cage, and instead of feeding the bird inside, they'll decorate the cage and clean the cage and put all their emphasis on making the cage look good. But the bird is not getting anything to eat, so it'll die. So in the same way, people's soul, although everyone is a soul, they have neglected the real person for the outer covering, which is the body, and everyone puts emphasis on that, thinking that the body is everything. And in Kali Yuga, this is quite prominent. Not prominent, but it's widespread. So beauty will be seen by external and not the real beauty of the soul's connection with Krishna, which makes the body also beautiful. Filling the belly will become the goal of life. You can see, just like in some of the major cities in the world, the most popular place to be is at a restaurant or a nightclub where they serve various types of food. Just like, I think it said in New York City alone, there are 3,000 vegetarian restaurants. What to speak about how many restaurants are in the whole city. There's 3,000 vegetarian restaurants. So, every few moments you walk down the street of a busy city and you run into some kind of outside cafe, bar, or eating place, restaurant, dining room. So eating has become the main goal in life for many people. And people don't even follow a regimen nowadays for eating. They eat what they want, whenever they want, not following any regulated program. It says that a person will get up in the morning and immediately the first thing they do is they have a cup of coffee. They'll do some ritual called getting clean. They'll come in and then eat a breakfast. And then they'll go to work, and then in mid-morning they'll stop for a mid-morning break. And then afternoon, around lunch, they'll have lunchtime, and then the mid-afternoon snack. And then the early evening, something to eat at 5 or 6 o'clock called supper. And then in the evening again, I'll have the midnight or late night snack. They eat 6 or 7 times a day. So, and many times they eat in the most gluttonous way, filling their stomach to its capacity. So here it says filling the belly will become the goal of life. So the belly becomes the deity where everyone worships. If the belly is full and satisfied with food, then life becomes, what we say, successful. The person can speak very strongly and make his point by audaciousness. Audaciousness means they'll say anything and everything just to appear to be truthful. Whether it's truth or not, at best it's sophistry, but whether it's truth or not, it doesn't matter. So one who can speak in such a way can attract other people. And you see also religious leaders, so-called religious leaders in different so-called religions, spiritual and otherwise, will be something like that. One who can maintain a family will be regarded as an expert person. Prabhupada tells us about his own experience when he was in New York. He met one Indian lady there, and she had a son, a grown-up son. And Prabhupada said, do you have any plans to get your son married? And she said, well, he can get married if he can maintain a family. So Prabhupada was thinking, maintaining a family is such a big thing nowadays. The people don't even refrain from getting married because they can't maintain a family or don't want to maintain a family. So maintaining a family seems to be a great credit in this age of Kali. And of course, nowadays, there's so many things that family maintenance is given that you have to have so many material amenities in your home. You have to have fancy furniture. You have to have a huge refrigerator, sometimes 2 and 3 refrigerators in the same house. I've seen that visiting many places. You open the refrigerator, everything falls out because it's so full. We have a second refrigerator that's the same way. They have stuff in the refrigerator they haven't used for about the last 2 years, but it's still there. And they have all kinds of decorations in the house, spend all kinds of money to make the house look so attractive inside. And they got a television in different rooms. So if they go into one room, they can have television. If they go in another room, they have another television. Nowadays, people who live in the same house don't even talk to each other. They call each other on the cell phone. Maybe devotees have had experience like that. You're living in the same house with another person, you just call them on the phone because they're in a different place in the house. So it's just like material life in Kali Yuga has become somewhat facetious or ridiculous, absurd practically. And so, and they define family maintenance as having all of these amenities to support the environment, which just clutters the house. Most people's houses are cluttered with a lot of junk. And places, it's so bad in some places that the wife can't clean, or if she can, if they have a little money, they hire a maid to do the cleaning. And the wife just watches television most of the day. So this is Kali Yuga. And so this verse really describes more of the anomalies in this age. Even from a material point of view, people are dysfunctional. They don't even know how to live properly. They have too many things, or they have no time to even. They're always working 2 or 3 jobs. Sometimes they work a day job, they work a night job, and then they work a weekend job. Or if they have only 2 jobs, sometimes the children in the family don't even know who their father is, because when the father is there, the kids are sleeping, and when the kids are up, the father's out working. And there's been, Prabhupada said one time, there was one boy who said to his mother, after 5 years old of age, he said he saw this man in the house. He said to his mother, "Who is that?" She said, "That's your father." He had never seen his father until he was 5, because the father was always working when he was sleeping, and when he was up sleep, when he was sleeping, the father was at home. So it's ridiculous. I tell a story how one situation, one of my disciples was working along with her husband in this one open area. The area was owned by this wealthy man who kept animals there, and he had a big place. It was a swimming pool, a ping pong, tennis court, various places. I went there to visit. I was riding a bicycle around, just seeing all the whole place. It's so huge. But the man who owned the place was living in the city because he had no time to go out to the place, because he was always working in the city. And so he kept an apartment in the city. And this place was in the rural area. And my disciple and her husband, they were living in the house paid by the man free, so they can take care of the man's estate. And he would come there once or twice a year just to see what was going on. Sri Devi, I think, is the person who was living there, right? She knows the whole story. How the owner of that place, he would come once or twice a year, and her and her husband were living in this one house that was living on the place, and the guy would never come. And her husband and her were getting paid to maintain the place and living on the place for free, and the guy never came. He could never enjoy the place because he was too busy making more money in the city. So you see how people don't even know what is real value. So, it's Kali Yuga is just so upside down and crazy. Even in spiritual circles, sometimes many of these wrong ideas or lifestyles filter in, and devotees get caught into this stuff also. It says here, principles of religion will be observed only for the sake of reputation. A person will decorate themselves in a certain way and come into a particular religious institution and show off his position by acting very spiritual. And within his heart, he's just trying to get some admiration from others or some remuneration from others in the form of some kind of financial gratuity. So people will make a show out of religion just to get a reputation or to gain something material, some money. So that's also there. And so this is Kali Yuga. And so this section that we're reading about is all the difficulties that come by the ways of this age. We can go on to the next verse. Let's see what the next verse is. Evam Prajabir Dustabir Akrine Chitti Mandale Brahmavid Shatra Sudranam Yobali Bhavitam Nipaham. As the earth thus becomes crowded with corrupt population, whoever among any of the social class shows himself to be the strongest will gain political power. Another symptom of the age of Kali. Is there a purport?
No, Maharaj, there is no purport.
No purport. Okay, I'll just mention that might is right is the statement. If you're strong, you can bully your way into positions within the society. Or if you have money, you can pay your way in. Qualifications, character has nothing to do with your position. It is simply by posturing yourself in that way, and nepotism is very strong in Kali Yuga. People get positions because they know someone who has a similar position, and they get them into that position, whether they're qualified or not. So this is another feature of Kali Yuga. Lying, cheating, duplicity, audacity, envy, backbiting, uh, posturing, hypocrisy. All of these go on in the name of religion or in the name of advancement in material life. These are just some of the few characteristics in this age of Kali. I was also thinking just this morning, I was thinking as Kali Yuga reaches towards the end of Kali Yuga, there is a species of life that will appear, and they had appeared in previous Kali Yugas. Sometimes we see movies about them. They're called the dinosaurs. These huge, gigantic creatures who roam the earth, devouring everything. And there's different types of dinosaurs. So people want to know whether these creatures are actually true. And they are. They're another feature of Kali Yuga. Huge, gigantic monsters will roam the earth, devouring anything and everyone that's there. And people will be living underground, hiding themselves from these monsters, So this is towards the very end of Kali Yuga. And there's proof of that from carbon dating, which is a way to find out what happened thousands of years ago by studying soil samples. And they also see the different bone structures of some of these. They actually found the bone structures of some of these huge animals that lived previous Kali Yugas. So these dinosaurs are actually a product of Kali Yuga. As everything goes down, there are demoniac plants, there are demoniac animals, obviously demoniac people. Everything becomes degraded and demoniac as the age of Kali progresses. Okay, we'll stop there. And so, but Lord Chaitanya is here with the Sankirtan movement, and he's giving us the antidote for destroying the effects of Kali Yuga. Kalir dosha nidhi rajan asti eko mahakuni kirtana the Krishna syam mukta sangam pradam jet. Chant Hare Krishna, spread the glories of the holy name everywhere, and live very simply based on your needs and not on your greeds, and make your life a service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Life is simple in this world, and the simpler you make it, the easier and most efficacious it becomes for spiritual life. The efficacy of spiritual life is fortified by many qualities, and one of the qualities is simplicity. Living simply close to nature, depending on nature, using nature in order for one's livelihood. Nowadays, there are children who go to live in cities. They've never seen even a cow before in their life. And the only animals they know of is what they see in different books or on television. And people have been deprived. But invading culture, keeping animals was part of one's family livelihood. People were also there, sheep in some places, and even dogs, cats, and other domestic animals were also kept in family life. And people would treat the animals like their own children, take care of them, and also the animals would provide different services. So I see the cow and the horse like that. So yeah, people are so distanced from nature that the only thing they know about nature is what they read about in books. Another feature of Kali Yuga. Okay.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Dear devotees, you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead. And please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you. Maharaj, while others are thinking any questions, so I just want to ask you, like, when we go to a sacred place, if we are new to that place, we don't know who are the saintly persons to reach out. So how to find out? Like, we don't know. Like, usually we see, like in India, in popular places, we see a lot of sannyasis. They are sitting around the banks of the rivers and or near the temples, but we don't know exactly who to approach and what to ask, or otherwise, even though we know what to ask, but whom to approach. This thing is there. Like, usually there is no guidance in this area in India.
Yeah, that's another one of the defects of Kali Yuga, that persons will put on the garb of a saintly person and live in the sacred place. And when women come, they will be looking sometimes for a holy man, and they meet these cheaters who take advantage of them. And sometimes they wound up, having a relationship with these persons. So yeah, this is another feature of Kali Yuga. So one should best to go to the temples where there is a regular worship going on, such as going to, and many of the so-called holy men in today's sacred places are just taking up residence there to get some free food, many of them, or a place to stay. So your question is really one of how to understand such the holy places and where to find sacred places. So the best thing to do is just go to an ISKCON temple. Fortunately, Srila Prabhupada has set up ISKCON temples all around. In Vrindavan, we have in many of the holy places around. Sometimes you get lucky and you meet a holy man in one of these sacred places, but it's quite rare. Nowadays, holy men use the sacred place in order to get money. So they sell darshans of the deities, or they give the darshan and ask you to give money. If you don't, they harass you until you do.
Yes,
So yeah, it's a lot of that there. Yeah, there was one lady. She was in her 80s. One Russian girl. She went to she not girl. She was in her 80s. She was 80 some years old, and she went to Keshigat. Keshigat is one of the holy places of Krishna's pastimes. And she got attacked by two men and got raped in the area of Keshigat. And she was more than 80 years old.
no.
Fortunately, she didn't die. She could have died at that age. So yeah, a lot of times, therefore, going to holy places, one should not go alone, especially if you're in a female body, because it's a little risky, some of these places. So the best thing is to stick to the ISKCON holy places and go see our deities all around the world.
Yes,
Fortunately, Prabhupada made service by opening temples, more than 150 temples, and temples are readily being opened in India even today. So yeah, best to stick with that. Or if you know for sure, like some special places, like if you go to Jaipur, You can go to Radha Govinda temple. You can go to Jaipur is quite good. You can go to Radha Damodar temple, Radha Govinda temple, also Radha Gopinath temple. All of these temples are in Jaipur. And these temples, these are the actual original deities that were removed from Vrindavan and taken to Jaipur when Aurangzeb attacked Vrindavan and was destroying the temples. Remember, these deities, these were the original deities. You can go to Karoli and see the original deity of Madan Mohan, or another form of Madan Mohan is in Vrindavan, and of course in Govardhan Echo Village, Radhanath Swami, along with all of his, devotees, have created this environment there where you have the whole Vrindavan scheme. It's a holy place, and we also have a replica of the original deity in Madan Mohan. The replica is so perfectly done that the pujari from Karoli, who takes care of the original Madan Mohan, came for the opening of our ceremony in 2018, I think it was, the 24th of January, 2018. I was also there at the time. And he extolled the beauty of Madan Mohan, which we created, and along with the temple. The temple is the exact size replica. So Radhanath Swami's idea was to create this duplicate of both the deity and the temple in Govardhan Echo Village. And if you haven't seen it, you will be amazed. It's like you're in the original deity in the original temple. It's just like that. It's even better though. And everything is kept so first class. And we have the 7 temples, and also there, the original 7 temples in more of a compact size, along with the pictures of the deities in the original temples. So we have many places around the world that devotees can take shelter of and get good association, get nice prasadam, and meet holy people.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, we always look forward to go to ISKCON temples only, because now we know that where to go, because previously I was small and I didn't know. We went with along with my parents. So we don't know, we just visit to the temple and take darshan and dip in the river and come back. That's all. But now after coming into the spirituality, we know exactly where to go. That is very true. Srila Prabhupada mercifully gave this ISKCON temples to all of us, and also it's like I feel like it's like a home. Okay, I'll search whenever we go to any place. I search for an ISKCON temple, whether it is there or not. So yes, Maharaj, thank you so much. And in other temples, they don't speak about Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita regularly, right? So in ISKCON temple only, we have all these classes.
Yeah, and we also give full prasadam.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah, that's also there.
Every one of our temples.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Devotees, any questions or comments? And we have a question on chat by Scarlett Mataji. She's asking, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your holiness and all glories to assembled devotees. She's asking Maharaj that in gopis or the previous ages, women had makeup, and now also women are practicing that. So even though they had makeup and everything, gopis are practicing spirituality and they are devoted to Krishna. So how to see the difference between the women then and now?
Now it's for attracting the opposite sex. Then they would dress and put on these different designs in order to please Krishna. just to please Krishna, they would do it. They would. Even I remember in our temples in New Vrindavan, sometimes the women would get all decked up and go in front of the deities like that. And then the question was, why were the women doing that? And they would say, well, Krishna likes it. Krishna's not seeing your body, he's seeing you as the soul. So that's the real beauty. So for a woman to get dressed up nicely is just natural. It's the feminine nature. But people overdo it and make it a reputation to kind of like look dazzling in order to attract the opposite sex or for some vanity, some personal vanity. And it has nothing to do with anything spiritual. But, the cosmetic industry is one of the biggest industries.
Yeah, Mataji is asking about the devotees. Nowadays, women devotees are more inclined towards this makeup and everything. So,
well, I mean, a little bit is fine, just as enough that is required, but it doesn't become a feature of one's consciousness where they're always thinking about how to look nice, quote unquote, for the public. Yeah, that's natural. Not that you stand 2 hours in front of the mirror in the morning, making sure the lipstick is just perfectly symmetrical with the rest of them. And then, you get that little eyelash and you're, twiddling the eyelashes with this black mascara, thinking that you're a gopi. So, yeah, it is. But real beauty, as it's mentioned, is the beauty of the soul. So there's nothing wrong, and nor do we ever criticize women for using cosmetics or makeup. But when it becomes a feature of one's, absorption, people will go to these different places to get facelifts too. The face is sagging in this place and that place, and then they fill in the cracks with some cosmetic, and then they file it down to make it smooth. And they spend so much time and money, and they spend sometimes thousands of dollars getting facelift. There was one particular famous beauty model. Her name was Bridget Bardot. She was famous for years. She's still alive. She's almost 100 years old now, I think. And when she was 50 years old, she had a very traumatic experience. She looked into the mirror and she saw the signs of her beauty deteriorating by the course of time. So it was so traumatic that she decided never to go out in public again. So she stopped her career because all of her career was simply based on her physical beauty, that's all. And fortunately, she changed her life for the better. After that, she became an animal rights evangelist, and she was, at least she did some mode of goodness work for a while. So yeah, she was, when her beauty was no longer there and she couldn't do anything to retrieve it, she just stopped making public appearances. But it's just, the external person is not the person, it's the soul who's the person. So keeping clean is a Brahminical quality. So we keep clean and neat. We try to dress properly in order to look presentable in public. But that, that is just basic necessities. What we're talking about here is how people make it a career, making sure they look good, at least quote unquote. So whatever the gopis did, they did it to please Krishna, not for their own, interest. Like that.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope that answers Scarlett Mataji. So, and devotees, any questions or comments? Sridevi Mataji.
Thank you, Srimati. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, this particular line where today people tirelessly rearrange their hair and their facial features and all in order to look attractive. As you said, this is $1 billion industry, this cosmetic industry where people spend hours and so much money. I observed this at close hand because my daughter recently got married, and I was astonished to see how much money is spent and how many hours are spent just to do one's nails. They put all kinds of things on the nails now to make them long, strong, shiny. They put gel. I mean, they do so many things, and it takes here thousands of rupees to do that. And this is going on in the name of beauty and fashion. And how people have no time to think about God. They have time for all these things, but they have no inclination, no desire, and no idea even about God. So how we can even think of preaching to them?
I was just thinking that even when you die now, they take you to a funeral parlor and they give you to this embalmer who does all kinds of work on your body. And then they dress you up in this nice uniform. And then they fix the facial features in such a way that the person looks almost alive. And people pay thousands of dollars to these guys. So just to take a dead body and make it look good. And then people come in and look, oh, there's Charlie, there's Uncle Charlie. Boy, he looks so peaceful. He never looks so good, The guy is not even there, It's just a corpse. So you want to talk about ridiculousness or absurdity? You take it to that level. So beauty parlor and funeral parlor. It's the same thing. Take a dead body and bring it into a shop and make it look good again. And take your own worn out body and take it into some beauty parlor and come out looking like, some kind of beauty star. And then you have to be careful not to move the wrong way because maybe some of the makeup will fall off or get smeared or your fake eyelashes will fall off. Such emphasis on the external and forgetting about the soul, forgetting about God, just for so-called impressing some people who are no better than the same people who are doing it. Just like devotees, men devotees, they shave up. And so Prabhupada did that because people in those days, when Prabhupada started the movement, people were growing long hair and they were known as hippies. So in order to not to get identified with the hippie culture, Prabhupada made the devotees shave up, because there's two kinds of Vaishnavas. One who shave up and have a shaven head with ponytail, and those who never shave. They let their hair grow, they let their beard grow. They're also Vaishnava culture also. And sometimes some of the women in our movement would want to shave up too. And then Prabhupada smashed that really strong. He said, no ugly gopis. He didn't want the women to shave up. Because they're not meant to do that. And the women wear nice, beautiful color saris. These are also nice. Women should look nice, presentable, but it's not like it becomes a fetish or a over absorption in the physical form. So it is interesting because now you'll see in the world, many men are shaving up now. We're just ordinary people. They shave their heads. And where the principle of Kali Yuga is that long hair is a sign of beauty. And of course, if you go back to some of the early European fathers, you see many of even in the parliaments, people would wear these long hair wigs. Wearing wigs were a feature of many of the royalty at that time, or growing very long hair. So that started back in the European culture like that. And then it came into the American society and was adopted by the hippies. Mhm.
Maharaj, on this point,
Maharaj, to a generation which is so preoccupied with the external, so preoccupied with all this cosmetics and jewelry and matching accessories and nails and hair makeup and eye makeup and this and that, how we can reach them, how we can preach to them, how we can penetrate their thick heads.
I wouldn't even worry about it. Waste the
Okay.
time. You want to preach to them, just help them understand the importance of chanting Hare Krishna. Give them some Krishna Prasadam, or give them a book. We don't really pay attention to people's external, decorations. We kind of look past that and try to see the soul within the body.
Yes,
For a
Guru
devotee to see everyone on the spiritual platform. Excellent.
Thank you for that reminder, Guru Maharaj. Putting things into perspective. Thank you so much.
thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a follow-up question on the shaving up of hair. In Tirupati, usually everyone go there and offer their hair to the Lord. So even women do that. So as devotees, are we allowed to do that, Maharaj?
Well, Prabhupada said no ugly gopis, no.
Mm.
So in Prabhupada's movement is different. They do that. There's some reason for that. There's some shave up, and then I don't know. There is a religious principle that is connected with that kind of ritual. I'm not sure. how to explain it.
Usually, I know that most of them, they take oath, and or if anything happens in their life, or they take oath, and according to that, they give hair to the Lord. They offer. It's like giving up your beauty and to the Lord Venkateshwara there. So usually they say like that, Maharaj.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can respect that, but Prabhupada gave us a different standard. He didn't want the women to shave up. The women were shaving up in our movement because they were thinking they were taking some kind of renunciation by doing that.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Devotees, any questions or comments? Last minute. It's a very important topic. Yeah, Prema Bhakti Prabhuji. Please go ahead. Are you able to unmute? Yeah.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, Maharaj, all glories to everyone on this call. Maharaj, just to let you know that I'm going to Vrindavan this month as well, visit the Dham.
Oh,
Can you
nice.
hear me? Can you hear me?
I'll
Yes,
be in
yes.
Mayapur practically the whole month of February.
Oh, right. I was going to go to Mayapur, but because this is my first experience of actually traveling far, I was told that I should really just stick to one place, don't travel too far, and plus I think there's some problems with the transportation as well, going to
Are you
places.
alone?
I'm going with a couple of other devotees for a wedding over there as well. So I said I'll take this opportunity now and go and visit the Dham. It's in Vrindavan. I'm going to Vrindavan, Maharaj, Vrindavan.
Going to Vrindavan doesn't mean entering into a physical environment. Going to Vrindavan means to go into the mood of
Yes.
service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vrindavan is not a material place, it's a state of consciousness, represented by a certain geographical area. But there are many paid people who go to Vrindavan but never enter into Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. So if you go to Vrindavan and you enjoy sense gratification in Vrindavan, then you'll become a monkey or a pig in your next life. So we have to go to Vrindavan in the mood of wanting to assist Srimati Radharani in her service to Krishna. In other words, we should go in the mood of complete surrender and service. Yes. And also to meet holy men in the holy Dham and hear from them, and visit the holy places where Krishna's pastimes are performed. Take the dust of those holy places and offer prayers to Krishna in different holy places. It's not a place for vacation, not a place for amusement, it's not a place for sightseeing, it's not a place for just to go there because it's a novelty and everybody else is doing it. You go there in order to get purified and to engage in devotional service.
Yes, Maharaj, definitely. Because I'm staying with a couple of devotees who are residents in Vrindavan as well. So yeah, I'm going in that mood of surrender.
Yeah, visit the holy places and go to the temple.
Yeah. Apparently,
prepare yourself because it's going to be cold. It'll be cold in the mornings in Vrindavan.
Yes. I'm making that preparation.
Warm clothes.
Yeah, yes, Maharaj. I'm making that preparation at the moment, trying to get all my things together, clotheswear and all that. Yeah. So it's going to be a really good experience for me. because I've never traveled properly. So,
Good. Wish you the best in your adventures in Vrindavan.
yeah, and plus I'm going to get my hair shaved as well before going as well. Totally.
We do that anyway.
Yeah, I do that sometimes to keep it on, but I'm going to get it totally shaved.
Okay, congratulations.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Devotees, any last minute comments or questions or any clarifications? Okay. Maharaj, I think there are no more questions. Anyway, it's past 1 hour. So I guess we can end the call here.
Okay. You can stop here.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you so much. Thank you, devotees, for joining and giving your association. Thank you, Maharaj. Tomorrow's class is with Bhakti Sangha Charlotte Group, and the verse number is Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 44.
6, 5, 4, 4. Okay.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Maharaj ki jai.
Hero goes to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hey, Devi, I got some